Hi viewers, in this lecture we are going to see the types of induced EMFs. These types of induced EMFs we come across in the energy conversion devices. Okay, first one is dynamically induced EMF. Second one is statically induced EMF. Third one is rotational induced EMF. Okay, these three EMFs we come across the energy conversion devices. Now first we'll see the dynamically induced EMF. Okay, what is dynamically induced EMF? The EMF induced when a conductor moves along the time invariant magnetic field. It is known as a dynamically induced EMF. See, when a conductor moves, means conductor is rotating along the time invariant magnetic field, means magnetic field is stationary. Magnetic field is stationary. The statement of the dynamically induced EMF is EMF induced across a conductor which is moving in a time invariant magnetic field. Time invariant magnetic field. Okay, the main thing in the dynamically induced EMF is conductor is rotating and the magnetic field is stationary. In this case we can get the dynamically induced EMF. Okay, time invariant magnetic field we can get by exciting the magnetic field with DC current. Okay, exciting the magnetic field with DC current. Okay, we know that flux is directly proportional to the current. When we excite with DC current, the flux we get is also DC, which is time invariant flux. This is the dynamically induced EMF statement. Let us see the formula for the dynamically induced EMF. Let us derive, or let us see how the EMF induced, dynamically EMF induced formula we can get. Okay, see, let us take north pole, south pole, flux lines. Okay, this is the conductor. See, conductor is moving with a velocity v. The magnetic flux density, let us take it as a B. Okay, magnetic flux density is B and the conductor is rotating with a velocity v. Let us take the small quantities. We will take the small quantities of all this. Okay, flux let us take as a d phi. D phi means a small quantity. Flux is the total quantity. D phi means a small quantity. We know that flux density is equal to flux per unit area. Okay, flux per unit area. When we take the small part of the flux, D phi is equal to total flux density into small part of the area. Okay, small part of the flux is equal to flux density into small area. We know that area is equal to length into distance. Length into distance. Here we take the effective length of the conductor which produces the EMF. Okay, this is the effective length of the conductor which produces EMF. This part we cannot get the EMF. Okay, this is outside the flux. This is the effective length of the conductor. The length is L. Let us take the small part of the distance. Okay, small part of the distance dx. This is dA. Okay, small area, length and the distance. See, this is the flux line. Consider this is the velocity. Take the velocity, resolve the velocity into two parts. One is along the flux line and perpendicular to the flux line. Okay, along the flux line and perpendicular to the flux line. Along the flux line, we can write the velocity as a cos quantity. Okay, V cos theta, because we are taking the angle between the flux density, means flux lines, to the conductor as a theta. When we take the angle between the flux lines, means flux density, total flux density, to the conductor, we take it as a theta. Okay, V cos theta, which is parallel to the flux lines. Which is perpendicular to the flux lines, we take it as a V sin theta. This is how we are resolving the velocity. Okay, resolving the velocity into two parts. Okay, which is parallel and which is perpendicular. See, which is parallel to the flux lines, we cannot produce the EMF, as there is no difference between, as there is no moving part with the flux lines and the conductor. Here V cos theta, in the V cos theta place, in the parallel condition, we cannot get the EMF. Which is perpendicular to the flux lines, we can get the EMF. Okay, V sin theta. Therefore, we are considering the V sin theta, not V cos theta. Okay, then see that we are taking the distance of V sin theta only, not V cos theta. Therefore, D. Let us calculate the distance dx. Okay, distance dx we are calculating with respect to the velocity. We are not taking the V cos theta because no EMF is induced. We are taking only V sin theta. V sin theta with respect to the time. Then the distance is equal to V sin theta dt. Okay, V sin theta with respect to time dt. With a small time, the distance we are covering is V sin theta. Okay, then dA is equal to L into V sin theta dt. This is the dA, small area. We are substituting this dA in the d phi. Then d phi is equal to B into L into V sin theta d theta. That implies d phi by dt is equal to B L V sin theta. We know that according to Faraday's law, E is equal to d phi by dt. That implies this d phi by dt is equal to B L V sin theta. We already calculated. Okay, therefore EMF induced, dynamically induced EMF E is equal to B L V sin theta. This is the formula. Okay, E is equal to B L V sin theta. Okay, the direction of the induced EMF, the direction of the induced EMF can be identified by using Fleming's right hand rule. Okay, by using Fleming's right hand rule. Fleming's right hand rule. Let us see what is Fleming's right hand rule. Stretch your fingers, thumb, forefinger and middle finger such that they are mutually perpendicular to each other. Okay, mutually perpendicular to each other. Stretch your fingers. Thumb direction shows the motion of the conductor. Okay, motion of the conductor means this upward. This shows thumb direction, shows the motion of the conductor. This is thumb. Forefinger shows the motion of the magnetic field. Shows the motion of the magnetic field. This one. This is forefinger. Shows the motion of the magnetic field. This middle finger, what we required, it shows the induced EMF polarity. Okay, induced EMF polarity. This is middle finger. This is Fleming's right hand rule. Let us see with the example. Okay, let us see with the example how the Fleming's right hand rule will be seen.